Cade Cunningham is already a top 10 player in the league. The ones that's ahead of him, they see him coming right now. And when I think about Cade, he's giving me Luka Doncic, LeBron James vibes, right? That perimeter player, that's 68, strong, physical, could score at all levels, and then make guys around him better. Coach, most people thought the Detroit Pistons would progress this season, maybe sneak into a low playoff seed, maybe a fun young team that gave contenders a headache. Cade stops topside, fires for three, and it's through. Count that baby in a foul. After all, they just made the playoffs for the first time in years, and even pushed the Knicks harder than anyone expected. But absolutely nobody expected this. 13 straight wins. Number one in the East. Not promising, not up and coming, just flat out better than everyone they've played. The Pistons have shattered every preseason expectation. This is a team rewriting the entire Eastern Conference in real time. Now, let's talk about it. One of the most storied franchises in basketball with 3 championships to their name, the Detroit Pistons entered the 24-25 season coming off the worst record in the league. They finished 14-68, suffered a 2-8 game losing streak, missed the postseason for the 5th straight year, and looked completely stuck in NBA purgatory. It genuinely felt like rock bottom, but then something unbelievable happened. The Pistons stunned the league by finishing 44-38, good for 6th place in the Eastern Conference. In the process, they became the first team in NBA history to triple their win total from a full 8 game season, jumping from 14 wins in 23 to 24 to 44 wins in 24 to 25. A massive leap. One of the biggest one-year turnarounds in both franchise and NBA history. A team that had been a league-wide punchline just a couple of seasons ago suddenly pushed for 50 wins and played competitive basketball from October to April. For the first time in more than a decade, there was real hope and excitement in the Motor City. But that hope came with limits. While Detroit was one of the best surprises in the NBA last season, most people believe they still had a long way to go in 25-26. Many expected them to take a small step back, or at best, spin their wheels, especially after losing key vets like Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Dennis Schroeder, all of whom were instrumental to their resurgence. Predictions hovered around 45 wins, barely above last season, with most expecting modest, steady progression at best. Then the season started. After a quarter of the schedule gone, the Pistons have shocked everyone again. Almost nobody expected Detroit to be the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference after 25 games, let alone riding a franchise record 1-3 game winning streak. A quick winning streak in November can be a fluke, but 13 straight wins and a 20-5 start, that's no accident. And here's the crazy part. They've done all of this through injuries. 10 different players have spent time on the injury report, and they've even had to play games without their franchise star, Cade Cunningham. Yet every time someone went down, someone else stepped up. On top of that, they haven't even shot the ball particularly well yet, meaning we still haven't seen the best version of this team. But here we are. 20 wins, 5 losses, sitting at the top of the East, 2 1/2 games ahead of the Knicks, and 5 ahead of the Celtics. We came into the season expecting growth. What we got was full-blown Eastern Conference contender. The same team that once couldn't finish games now looks comfortable in the clutch time. Mr. Fourth Quarter, cut in. They got him over to Robinson for 3. The same players who used to find creative ways to lose are now leading statement wins. Sure, it's easy to say it's still early, but 25 games in, this feels less like a lucky hot streak and more like a certified declaration that Detroit basketball is officially back. And speaking of Detroit basketball being back, we have to talk about the 2 franchise pillars making it happen, Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duran. Their connection and their individual leaps have been the foundation of Detroit's rise through the Eastern Conference. Cunningham went from earning his first All-NBA selection last season to hearing his name legitimately mentioned in the MVP conversations this year. and it's completely deserved. He's averaging career highs across the board: 27 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. The kind of stat line most players dream about. He's carrying Detroit's offense, but he's been just as impactful defensively, posting a career-high 1.5 steals per game with a 33% usage rate, the highest of his career and 6th in the entire NBA. He's clearly the engine of this team. This was supposed to be the season where someone else stepped up to lighten his load, but that hasn't happened yet. Honestly, it hasn't mattered though. Cade isn't a one-dimensional player. He defends, he rebounds, he generates turnovers, he controls the pace, and offensively, he's both one of the league's better scorers and one of its top 5 playmakers. When you combine all of that in one guy, no surprise, Cunningham sits firmly in the top 5 of the MVP ladder. The most underrated part of Cad's game this season, what he does when it matters most. In clutch time, he's been the best player in the league. His ability to manipulate defenses, control tempo, and make the right play under pressure is a huge reason the Pistons are sitting at 20-5. Detroit hasn't been blowing teams out. Most of their wins have been tight, high-pressure battles. In those moments, Cade has consistently taken over on both ends. There's a reason only Janison Campos scores more fourth-quarter points than Cunningham's 9.5 per game, and why he trails only Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in clutch points per game at 5.3. When the game gets tight, Cad's fingerprints are everywhere. A massive reason the Pistons are 12-4 in clutch situations this season. There's not much to criticize except for his three-point shooting, which has been flat-out bad. He's hitting just 30% from deep on a career-high 6.22 attempts per game, ranking in the bottom 5% of the league in almost every three-point shooting category, whether it's pull-ups, catch and shoot, or even wide-open looks. Even during his recent 10-game stretch, averaging nearly 30 points per game, he's shooting just 27% from three. And that's the scary part. Even with poor shooting from beyond the arc, he's still producing MVP-level numbers. Imagine what his stat line would look like if those threes started falling, not just from the extra points, but from how much it would force defenses to stretch out and open up the rest of the floor. Cade Cunningham has been incredible this season, and the fact there's still room for improvement should terrify the rest of the league. Another Piston quietly terrifying the league is Jalen Duren. He's always been physically dominant, but this season, he's leaned fully into it, becoming the ideal version of himself. A player who controls the rim on both ends through 22 games. Duren is posting career highs across the board. 18.6 points, 11.3 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and 1 block per game, while shooting 65% from the field and 75% from the free throw line in just 29 minutes per contest. What makes him so efficient isn't flashy scoring, it's mastery of what he already does best. Duren creates gravity as a roll man, catches lobs for thunderous dunks, and punishes opponents with putbacks off offensive rebounds. He's also added new layers to his game, taking opposing bigs off the dribble and mixing in mid-range shots. A lot of that growth came this past summer when Coach Big's staff worked with him one-on-one for 2 weeks, developing a level of closeness and trust that has clearly paid off on the court. The improvement isn't just on offense. Defensively, Duren is turning into the force of nature Detroit hoped he'd become. He's quicker, more aware, and his pick-and-roll defense has noticeably improved. Defense was a question mark entering the season, but paired with Isaiah Stewart, he's protecting the rim and helping the Pistons rank top 5 in NBA defensively. Duren has become a weapon in his own right. He's no longer just a lob threat or a pick-and-roll partner for Cade Cunningham. He's expanded his entire game. The crazy part, he's still only 22 years old. The best days for Jalen Duren are still ahead. But what makes this Pistons team so dangerous isn't just Cade and Duren's individual talent, it's their connection. Their synergy has been a driving force in Detroit's rise over the past 13 months. And it started off the court in ways most people wouldn't expect. Last summer, Cunningham organized an off-the-grid week in Colorado with friends, and Duran was right there. They stayed in small cabins with few modern comforts, spent days training, hiking, fishing, and challenging themselves in nature.